episode 107 of the Joel Fleischman Happy Hour podcast. Joel and Jules, here we go.
Hi, Jules.
Hey, hey.
107, yours
107,
the third
cheers.
podcast you've been on with me, so take it away, Jules. And the Jules faction, she's going to run this pod. And again, shout out to Jules Podcast. If you're a podcaster,
yes.
give it a shout out.
Thank you. Positive on Purpose podcast. We just released our 200th episode, so really exciting stuff. And I'm really grateful to be here again with you, Joel. Get inside your head. We've been talking a lot about this month, and really, you know, our company is a learning company. We care about developing further educating ourselves, and we are a company that changes a lot, changes quickly, right? And with that, there's some rethinking, unlearning. We tell our shoobies and our new hires, be curious, question everything. Why are we doing this? Could we do it better? Could we do it faster? All those things. So I got a couple of statements, popular sayings that you might hear out in the world, in the workplace, maybe at home. And I'd love to just hear your take on it. And, you know, maybe you had thought this thing at one time and now the Joel today thinks differently. So
100%. And, you know, one definition of wisdom is that you need to relearn and rethink everything always.
Yeah.
Super believe that the older I get, rethink everything. Take a step back.
Yeah.
If anybody's still watching the news, I don't know if anybody watches the news, please, with this political climate, take a step back and say, what are they telling me and why? Do not take it at face value, please.
Yes.
And once you do, you're going to turn it off.
Yeah, amen to that.
Okay,
so first one.
I think everyone knows that, but I don't think everyone knows that.
We got to keep repetition, right?
Yeah.
Bring it back. So this first one, I know how you feel about this one, but I want to ask, you've heard this many times, I'm sure, knowledge is power. Is that or is there more to that?
Great question. Knowledge is power. My dad says it all the time. I have to believe that is true. I have to believe learning gives you such an upper hand. I hate the word power because that's a loaded one. But yes, knowledge is power. Almost absolute.
Yeah.
Almost absolute.
I love how recently you had talked about, you know, learning and teaching without comprehension is silent chaos. And that's where, like, I've always been challenged too, because I was like, oh, knowledge is power. Like, I just got to consume. But then until you repeat it and apply it and teach it, like, I think even more power comes from that, right?
Yeah, true knowledge. Again, you know, you have to go deeper of what true knowledge means.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, are you surface level knowledgeable? Are you an opinionated knowledgeable? Are you just coming up with your own rules? Or are you really an expert in that topic or wherever you want to be powerful about?
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Next one from the coach side of you, practice makes perfect.
Don't love that. Practice makes perfect. There's a better saying, Marcus, you might know that as a coach.
Perfect practice makes perfect?
Perfect practice makes purpose. I like that better.
I do too.
I like that better. But again, I always go back to if we're talking sports, I still go back to you have to have some natural talent. So talent plus passion maybe equals close to perfect. You're never going to get perfection. So I think practice makes perfect is just this illusion that somehow you can practice to be perfect. And A, you can't be perfect. And B, sometimes you don't have natural God-given talents to even chase perfection. So it's a little bit loaded. I don't mind it, but I think we can do better.
I know, right? I agree. And even like the 20-mile march that you had shared this week too, with, you know, that consistent practice, you know, and that discipline.
Explain that for those that do not know what a 20-mile march is.
Yeah, so Jim Collins shared this. There was a march. It was a climb, right? I think. And so there's two different.
I think it was a race to the South Pole.
Okay.
If I remember right. Yes, right.
So two different guys, two different groups making it. One went to the extreme and, you know, was like, this one day we're going to go all in and do our 20 mile or 17 miles.
Or more. 38 miles. It's perfect conditions. They would do 38 miles.
Yes.
Next day it's raining. Conditions. They wouldn't do anything and take a day off.
Yes. And then the other group would consistently, in any conditions, rain or shine, manageable, consistent, disciplined action, got out there and did the thing. And in that climb or march to the South Pole, they were the ones that were successful because they trained in every single environment and consistently did it.
And just said, it's, you know, it kind of goes that discipline over motivation.
Yes.
Right? The other group was motivated and then unmotivated and then motivated and unmotivated. And that kind of wears off.
It does.
It's discipline.
Yeah.
I do 20 miles a day, no matter the conditions, no matter what. And if I could push on more, also there's a nugget in there. If I could push more today, I am not going to. That's where our core value balance comes in, because I need to have reserves so the next day that might be a tough condition day. So you do not know the next day, so do with the plan, work the plan.
Yeah. So good.
Great question, Jules.
Yeah. Next one, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
100%. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm there's a saying that says, and we have it downstairs, and I can't remember it exactly, but it goes along the lines of, if you can't tell if I'm working or playing or working, I'm doing it absolutely right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you worked alongside of me enough. I have a feeling you have no idea if I'm goofing around or working most times, right?
Yep.
Or opposite, is he playing? No, he's actually working, even though everyone's laughing, right? So, I'm a believer of that for sure.
Yeah, and I love too when you had talked about our Drexel Commitment Part 1, like when you lay your head on the pillow at night, I'm where my passion meets my talent. I'm like fulfilled, and I can lay my head down knowing that like I did a really good job and I love what I do. And like there's so much like.
Oh, I mean, we'll take this to sports. Passion and talent. Yeah, the truly greats, and again, a great could be a player that plays at Marion, a talented person. Where their passion meets their talent. Yeah, games on the line. They're having a blast. Yeah. Right, Marcus? I mean, they make it seem easy.
Yeah.
We've talked about golf swings on these podcasts before. The good, talented, passionate players, they're just having fun and they make it seem easy.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Next one. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh man, I live that life. That is so good. I think a lot of that can come from the Bible, that you have to have faith. And faith in whatever God, that is really, really tough, of whatever plan God has for me and whatever the outcome is, I will be at peace and have joy knowing there's an eternal life and a plan for God. But it's so easy to creep into comparison. Why isn't my kids this way? Why isn't my life this way?
Yeah.
If we could just be happy what we had, right?
Yeah.
And I always say it this way, there is somebody that's completely jealous of your life, right? So, I mean, just the fact that we're talking and alive and here and writing, and the fact that you're at work means no one in your house is dying that second, right?
Yeah.
There's tons of parents right now at Children's Hospital that would do anything to be doing what we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
They do anything to have the worst player on the team. Anything.
Yeah.
They do anything to have a kid that doesn't like sports, that loves sports, or whatever. Whatever you're comparing.
Yep.
You know, whatever your comparison is, or they would love to be that busy.
Yeah.
Whatever your stress center is, right? I mean, they would love to be, if you're struggling with your weight, 100 pounds overweight, they would love it, right? They trained anything for it.
Yeah. I recently saw Adam Grant share this too, and his book Think Again, right? And this is his genius too. And he was like, comparison can be the thief of joy, right? With that, like if it's giving you those negative feelings or what have you. The one thing I did appreciate him sharing, which just opened my mind and perspective, is there are people that can inspire us too. Like you say, like live on university. So if I'm comparing myself with people that are like out there and getting after their goals and doing the thing, like I started opening up Pinterest in the morning instead of social media, because I'm like, this inspires me, and this way if I compare, like that's gonna push me to do something good with it.
Yeah, I do think the 5 people you're closest to really does impact you. So yes, so if you're comparing yourself to those people or who you want to be and emulate,
yes,
that's nothing wrong with that either.
No.
So it maybe you should say
both sides of the coin, right?
it can be the thief of joy
be.
if you let it.
Yeah,
right?
see, and there we go. Just rethinking, relabeling
100%.
it. Awesome. Next one: leaders are not born; they are made. Thoughts
I don't
on
know.
that?
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I think, again, it's talent plus passion, right? So I've coached kids for 10 years. I've helped hire and fire hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. We employ 800. How do they say that, right? Some people are thrust into leadership and others are... we're doing so many quotes here. I wish I had a Google monster up here to help me out, right? Because somebody's like, Joel, this is what it is. Somebody's screaming on the radio, right? Somebody's screaming in their car right now. he means to say this. And
like everyone comes with their strengths and shortcomings, right? But like, does anybody really get anywhere without support and without that development and without the training?
yeah, I mean, I do think you can take natural leaders and make them much better leaders. But I do think people that are naturally God-gifted in certain, maybe they're leaders in other parts of their life, but in certain parts of their life, they do not want to be a leader. Even if they're the most talented or most passionate or most vocal, not everyone in that, and also sometimes it's just their time of their life, right? They have a lot of personal things going on. They have a lot of different things going on. I mean, Marcus, you coached a lot, right?
Yeah.
I don't think everyone was trained able to be a leader.
No,
they can lead in their way.
Yep.
And they can lead by example.
Yep.
And they can lead right with boots on the ground. They can lead by be themselves authentically. But leading the team takes a unique trait. I don't think that can be 100% trained. So I would disagree with that.
All right, love it. So good. How you do anything is how you do everything.
No, I don't. I think you can be lazy on some things. You can get in a bad. Again, it's habits to me.
Yeah, I think like seasons of life too. Like,
Yeah.
there are going to be times where like you have to say, I'm not going to be maybe as good or like do it this way like I used to because I have this. You know, like the plastic balls versus the glass. Like which ones can you allow to fall to the floor? You know, you're juggling all the things.
Yeah, just popped in my head. I have a friend of mine. Her name's Kelly. Shout out to Kelly. She doesn't listen to this, but her and I were talking about that, and where we were saying is, I can't believe, we were just talking about this. Some days we're just so full of joy, and some days we're so melancholy, and some days we're worse than that.
Yeah.
Some days that's based on the weather, which is horrible. What a weak humans we are, that like our emotions are based on the weather. But even beyond the weather, it's just, it comes and goes. It's flighty.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's super true. I know where the saying's coming from. It's a mindset. Make your bed every morning. Keep your corners clean. Keep your pantry. Live a balanced life. I love that. I get that, but it's almost pushing to too much excellence in some ways.
I think it's like
everyone's got to have a dirty junk drawer, right? I'm anal as hell, and I have one dirty junk drawer.
Where does it stop?
Yeah.
Because like if you looked at my lawn compared to other people's lawn, you'd be like, that guy just mows it to mow it. Like it doesn't look pristine, but other things probably look better than other people.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, where do you judge?
Yeah, I think like we're always just striving, you know, to be better.
They can lead to a life of stress. Again, it can be a comparison thing where I'm never good enough. I'm never good enough because you're chasing something.
Yep. Right. Good. All right, next one. It's better to be valued than needed.
No, yeah, it's just hard to, the words matter, right?
Yep.
So needed means somebody's leaning on you. Valued means they appreciate you. So it depends on the walk of life, right?
Yeah.
I think what it's trying to say is you've done a good job of influencing but not controlling, where needed is you put a lot of control.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's saying.
I think so too. Even like maybe some dependency too.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Or like an empowering,
You've
like we try to do here.
You've created a universe where it kind of revolves around you somehow, and you're needed. Versus, no, I appreciate that person very much. Our culture, hopefully.
Exactly.
I hope nobody here needs me. Like that's always been my goal. I hope I could get hit in a bus tonight, and everyone's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Then I think you did a good job.
It's like that. I heard like a beyond you leadership, like it lasts beyond you, you know, your existence.
When did that stop for you though? Because obviously I know like you always talked about in past pods where you were at every location or you try to get everywhere each week. When do you think that stopped, where it started to kind of, you're like, I can't do this anymore for my own sanity?
No, it really was pushback from the team. That you're burning us out. You know, we've talked about that before. Caitlin and Julie, two people for sure. Ken Wilbanks, who we had as a consultant, he said, you're singeing those around you. You're burning people out. You're not as impactful as you think you are. You're not, as well liked maybe as you think you are. And then kind of like trying it, right? You got to kind of like give up a little bit and be like, okay, so if I don't attend that meeting, what happens? They're like, how'd it go? And you could just see them like, good. Like, so you didn't need me there? No. Like, if you actually asked for that sort of feedback, was pretty cool.
Did you take to that right away though, like instantly?
No. I think I'm still struggle with that. I mean, there's times I still want to be in control. So a little bit, I think that's my personality. Always have been a showrunner, as I called myself, 8th grade, high school.
Yeah.
guys, we're doing this tonight.
Well, it goes back to being born a leader, though, right? There's a piece of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I can drive this bus, and then it's the fine line of when you want to, right now on the merchant team, I am driving the bus, and I'm loving it. But shout out to Amber Wash. She just was named leader this week.
Hey,
hey, Amber. Yeah, congratulations. Woo. So now it's training her to be that leader and me backing away. So that's, again, maybe comes with just wisdom of the company and being very clear, like, I won't be here forever. So, yeah.
But
It's literally not trying so hard.
Yeah.
Very sports related.
It is.
Very golf swingish, right? Like, man, I've always struggled with golf because I try so damn hard at golf.
It's like, if you want to grow, you got to let go a little, like,
that's a great
my hands are full. What can I, that's a good, I love the sports
It's so
reference.
hard. If you want to grow, you got to let go.
Yeah.
So good.
So good. Okay, cool.
So impossible sometimes.
It's a desire, we want.
It's actually, I've been fishing a lot this summer, as some of you know, or maybe it comes up in the podcast. And my 2 boys love to fish, my oldest especially. Just became head coach of the fishing team in Kewaskum. We were fishing now.
Wow.
Yeah. But, that's one great thing about the outdoors and nature and specifically fishing. You can't try too hard. You can't even try too hard. Like in golf, I can try too hard and over practice and over commit and over intense and over swing and man, I'm getting all golfed up. Or really any sport. In fishing, you can't cast it harder.
Nope.
You can't make a fish bite. And it humbles you, but it ends up saying, hey, it's going to be okay. We didn't catch a damn fish tonight, but
a lot of patience there too.
It's not even really fishing's not a lot of patience. It seems like patience, but it's more. It's more the shoulder shrug of life. Like what came out of this that was, you're not chasing this outcome.
Yeah.
As long as you're not, you're chasing the experience and not the outcome. That's a really good learning lesson.
That's really good. Awesome. Yeah. How about maybe a little fitness related, go hard or go home, which is a little bit to what we were just speaking about with burnout and such, right? But what do you think about that?
Oh, I'll give Kelly another shout out. So shout out Kelly.
Yeah.
Just talked about that with her. That's another thing. Like right now, she said she's like the same age as me, so she's 50, and she's like, I'm going as hard as I possibly can because I somehow feel like it's taking over the, offsetting my age, right? So she's like killing herself in workouts. Right now, I'm probably at like a 75% intensity in my workouts. Again, I think that comes in periods of your life.
Yeah.
Listening to your body, listening to who you are and where you're at.
Yeah.
And that goes beyond just working out. But working out, potentially, I don't think you should go that hard 100% of the time. I don't think that's how your body's really made to do that.
Yeah.
But I do think there's times in your life or sessions where you are, I don't know what that is, dieted out, slept out, right? Like it all kind of hits and you go as hard as you can. Hit it as hard as you can when you can. I think work's the same way. There are days where I can Tuesday this week, I just effing crank.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's days I'm doing my 20-mile march.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the, what was the thing you shared? Go fast or go slow to go fast sometimes too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and the merchant mission, especially in project management, and a lot of our team does, not everyone on our team, maybe 100 of the 800 people do project management. And it's go slow to go fast, which means look at all the data. Look at are all the right people in the room? Have you looked at every possible outcome and situational analysis? And that as you do it, but as you're disciplined to do it, not meetings and waiting and not actually doing it, as you do that, all of a sudden you've worked with me a little bit, or at least listen in. Also be like, Joel, you got that done? I'm like, yeah, got it done in a day. Yeah. Because ultimately, looking at it only really required maybe 3 or 4 hours of my time that I dedicated in the 20-mile march to go slow. I went slow, got all the data from Jordan Carlton, built a spreadsheet, looked at it, got the right people in the room. Boom, we went that slow. Now we can go. Now when I get to the meeting, I can go boom, boom, done. Be like, Joel, how'd you make a decision so fast? I did all my work behind the scenes that maybe you didn't know in the room. So that was just the last nugget I needed to rethink what I thought I knew, right?
Yes, so good. Awesome. Next one, let's go with always play to your strengths. What do you think about that one?
I go back and forth with that. I really do. I do love building on your strength, again, passion and talent. And man, sometimes the teams and the organizations and the humans that go with their strength, they end up being these savantly, amazingly cool people, right? Because it's like, that's your strength and you've just explored it and killed it. I do think there is a weakness in trying to make your weakness your strength. I think that's a futile effort of waste of time, I guess, waste of energy. I think you end up really frustrated. It doesn't mean you shouldn't improve your weaknesses.
Right.
But I don't think focusing on your weaknesses,
Yeah.
I'm not going to become a marathon runner. That's my weakness. I don't think that's going to work for me. I don't love heights. I don't think I can just take that away.
Right.
Like, I don't think I can just start running on roofs anytime soon. For all you that can, sorry, that's a weakness. I don't
Parkour.
Yeah. I don't like snakes, frogs, all that stuff doesn't bother me. Mice bother me like crazy. Always have. Just freak the hell out of me. I just don't think I can make that into a strength where I'm going to raise mice someday.
Right. No, not
Different.
likely not.
Right? Like different aspects.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I like how you said, like, you should strive to improve, but like the full focus.
Yeah, like there's no reason for me to freak out when I see a mouse.
Right. No.
Now to make that into I'm going to make that into a strength that 25 goal. I'm going to love mice. I'm not going to go that far.
Yeah.
Keep building your strengths. Again, passion and talents. We keep going back to that. Man, you get so much more joy out of that. Which go back to joy, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the important piece you said too. Like, don't frustrate yourself either. Like, try. Okay. You don't have to believe everything you think.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Right.
I just saw this today on the gram. I'm not even on the gram, but I'm only on the gram at work. And it was a monk or somebody. And he said, you have 3 voices. And you think about it, you kind of do. The devil's voice, the demons are talking to you.
Yep.
Like, just put it this way. If you don't believe in devils, the voices in your head, would you ever say that to yourself? Like, I read a book on that. Like, that's so true. Like, you would never, ever, why would you ever say that to yourself? So then who's saying it?
Yeah.
Like, where does that thought come from? Like, if you would never, ever say that to yourself, then why are you thinking of that? Well, that's just a demon. Truly. I truly believe that. And then you have the Holy Spirit and God working within you. And man, demons are, I don't know why God did that, but that comes in whispers. Demons come in screaming. And then you have, I do think you have your true voice. Defining that, human weakness, good luck, right? If you can figure out which of the 3 voices it are, I'm assuming only Jesus could ever figure that out on earth, right? So I wouldn't beat yourself up over that, but just because you have a thought. In fact, if you read a lot about meditation and monks, I've read quite a bit on that stuff, right? That's part of meditation, is to surf through your thoughts. Jules, I'm guessing you're into that.
I am.
Right? So you're literally letting your thoughts come in and out and taking that thought, knowing that's not you, that's a demon or something or whatever that is. Freudian, right? It's your ego, alter ego, whatever. If it's not really truly you, to let your thoughts just flow through like you're surfing on a surfboard.
There's like release meditations, like release, just kind of letting, like, physically and,
I have massive anxiety today. It's like, well, is that real, not real?
Yeah.
I acknowledge it. I feel it. I'm not going to be it.
Love that. Yeah, Jamie and I talk about this on our podcast too. Like,
I felt good just to say it.
Yeah, it did. Well, you're not responsible for your first thought, but you are your second. And then is this true? Is this helpful? Is it kind? Like, and again, would that something like a loved one say about me? Like, I think that's always good to question that. So I love the
would you say that to a friend?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Okay, so this one I know is not like it's kind of a popular saying, but ready, aim, fire. But here at Drexel, we go ready, fire, aim. I'm sure you've hit that on the podcast before, but how'd that come about?
Maybe not a lot. A couple times maybe.
A couple times, but not really.
Right, so ready, fire, aim actually comes from who? Some hard-driving SOB guy, alpha male. Quadracci, I think it was from the Quad Company.
Oh, okay.
I think his name was Lee Quadracci, right? The guy that started Quad over here in Lamira.
Sounds right.
Apparently not, because there's huge books on it, so I'm guessing it wasn't Quadracci. So obviously there's books being said on it. Now we're looking at Amazon it up. I don't know who has the original
Original credit goes to.
I don't know what the original credit goes to. So ready, fire, aim means to me is the act of doing is way more important than the act of aiming. So the best analogy I have for that, which I think is wonderful, so many organizations and persons literally aim the gun to a bullseye, right? So you have this, if you think of a scope, they see the bullseye and they take this scope and they have meeting after meeting after meeting. Anxiety after anxiety after anxiety. Conversation.
Quadrici, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a book here that, with the belief that ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things, Harry Quadrici built a legendary printing company and changed the industry. So
there you go.
Yeah, sweet. I think I read the book then. I'll give myself credit reading the book. I believe it is. And so again, going back, and that's a great book. The guy that started Mercury Marine, also a great book. That's called The Iron Fist, I think. Look up the Mercury Marine book for people if they want to read the Merc story. It's pretty cool. So there's a scope with a bullseye, and you take so much time adjusting the scope, but they never shot the bullet. You shoot the bullet, you're not going to hit the bullseye. And I think people have a lot of ego, and they're scared to fail, but you got to shoot the damn gun.
Yep. And
then you adjust. So you start the project, and then you have to rethink. I think so many people start a project assuming the outcome. They don't have a hypothesis. They have a conclusion that they're trying to chase. So they're scared to shoot it. So shoot the damn gun. If you got to adjust, you got to adjust. And if you make a mistake and you got to get out a new target, so be it. But by starting it, so ready, fire it, and then aim. Like, are we ready to go? Yeah. Try it, adjust, go. We lost money in flooring for 10 years. We lost money in Amherst for 3 years on off-site construction. Truss manufacturing was a son of a bitch the first couple of years. But we had to get into it. If we would have just kept thinking about it, we still would not have anyone employed in manufacturing, and now we have over 400.
Or if you'd have failed right away and just said, well, we can't do it, right?
Yeah.
And just gave up, you know what I mean? Like,
we could have gave flooring a ride for a year and said,
yeah,
that's just not our niche. But you got to know when to bail too, so that's a different thing.
For sure. All right. Agree or disagree? Emotions should not be brought to work.
Oh, totally disagree. Oh my gosh.
Oh, we talked about that.
I can't believe how emotions are taken out of work. I don't really understand that. Even when we do spreadsheets, I always say emotion has to meet the data.
Yeah.
Right? The numbers are the numbers, but they have to meet the emotions. Now, again, it depends on what the word emotion means to you, right? If emotions mean we can never fire anybody because they're family to us, that's not right either. That's not fair to the customer, or we have a legacy product line or something like that. If that's what it means by emotion, which sometimes it is, like you hang on to this pet project too long of emotions, then I would agree. So it depends how you define emotions.
Yeah, I just actually did a podcast on emotions because I find it fascinating, and the difference between emotions and feelings and moods. And like they gave a really good analogy about like how we respond to emotions, of like how like an email comes to an inbox, right? You can deny it and not deal with it. You can delegate it, or, so it was just so interesting because, a lot of people could just say, well, I don't want to feel that right now. I don't want to feel that, like, I can't bring that to work. But the more you do that, the more you become numb and, like, you don't even, like, know yourself. And then how are you able to bring your real authentic self to work, too? You know?
Well, I put this on LinkedIn, which I just use If you follow me on LinkedIn, I am not a LinkedIn guy. I don't get it. I don't know why there's a need for it in the universe at all, and I just put really dumb crap out there, just raw emotional stuff that you're probably not supposed to put out there. And I put out there this week, I actually said, when it came to politics, I said it's really interesting. You can't talk politics at work, culturally. You can't talk politics on social media, culturally, right? You're kind of shamed for that. You can't talk about it with your friends and family. So we're supposed to not talk about politics. So where can I talk about politics? Or again, I just consume what I consume, and then we all just have our own thoughts in our head. I mean, you can't really bring it up anywhere without somebody going, oh, God, is Marcus talking politics? So, no, be you authentically, and emotions have to be at workplace.
Yeah, and being vulnerable too, right?
Oh, please.
Like,
so many people cry in my office weekly. It's so good. We're humans.
Yeah.
We need to be humans at work. We're here 2,000 hours. You're at a workplace if you work 40-hour weeks, right? In 10 years, you work here for 20,000 hours. Take the emotions out of it. 20,000 hours of your life in 10 years, take the emotions out of that? I don't think so.
Might as well be the robots, right?
Oh, worse.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, agree or disagree? There are no bad teams, just bad leaders.
Totally disagree, but I know where that's going, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think, again, passion and talent, which we keep going back to over and over again. If you have somebody that just doesn't have any talent, I'm talking sports and I'm talking business. And I've done both, right? We've hired people that just can't sell. I can't define it. They cannot sell.
Yeah.
Have had people that are not detailed orientated, have had people in that job duty that are not accurate, that are not good at math, that are not good at angles when it comes to cabinetry design. I don't know. If you're the world's best leader, however you define that,
Right.
I don't think your team's going to be very good. And leadership, leadership. I love when the team leads themselves, right? So I'd rather take a team of leaders with a weak leader, potentially.
Yeah.
Right? If I had to choose
There's
a leader with
a podcast topic.
that kind of is,
break that
right?
down.
Which one would you rather have, right? Man, thinking hoops, right? I think I'd rather have a bunch of.
You can go a lot further with a team, right, that can galvanize together with a poor leader, as opposed to having a strong leader and really no talent or no chemistry. I
guess that's
a really good.
I guess that's an easily defined answer, honestly.
So much blood out of a rock, you know what I mean? Like it just,
and that's an easily. If you had a very strong leadership and very passionate, talented team, they could probably overcome a very weak leader.
Yeah, and even I know we talk culturally, right? Like it is everyone's responsibility too, right? And the team member to speak up and to, there's that piece of it too. But I think you can always fit a sports reference in there.
Sure.
Well, I think that's why sports exist. Why it's so easy. It's just such an easy. It's like a microscope of a lot of things in life.
Yeah, cool. Who do you follow or connect with because they make you think even when you disagree? Whether that's here at Drexel, anywhere.
They make me think even when I disagree. My kids do a good job with that.
That's good.
My Mace, shout out to Macy, Jackson, and Marcus. They do a good job of that. I'm like, well, where is that coming from and why? Outside influences at all that I can think of currently, I can't think of anybody right now.
Yeah.
Probably need more people like that in my life, honestly, that have different thoughts and push me really hard.
I think you do see that in any book you pick up, not every book, but that's where Adam Grant is such an inspiration to me because I'm like, oh, well, I thought that once, but you just opened my mind and just made me think that.
I guess at work is
right?
yeah.
So many people when they present something, it's so one way or the other. It's not presented with facts and the detail where you're like, I really disagree with you, but I can see, where there's other tangible stuff that allows you to look into it a little bit more as opposed to, hey, you should believe this because of this.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't agree with that. But when you present all the different facts and stuff, then you're like, okay. That actually
I can think of 3 people right away. Keith Badhorse, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Keith and I will disagree on a lot of things, and he'll push and have a lot of data and really make me rethink. Andy Rutler, daily, hourly, minute by minute, much different mind thought than me. You see how much good we get along, but comes around a whole back door than I do in a different sense. And Ross Harder as well in manufacturing, and Ross is a genius. Shout out to Ross, and he can sum it up. I'm a wordy guy, right? I gotta talk through my thoughts. He can say something with 3 words, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
I am the same way. I gotta work through it. Lengthy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ross. That's awesome.
Yep. I'm just working through my thought right now. Just let me keep rambling for a hot minute.
Cool. Awesome, Joel. How about that billboard? What's your billboard say nowadays?
Today? Shout out to Jules, right? That's a good one. Oh, shout out today. Fight, fight, fight.
Yeah.
There you go. How about that?
I like it.
Fight, fight, fight.